Boehnlein. I am the Garden Coordinator for Logos Public Charter School, and welcome back to the Garden Gazette. This is our December edition, and we're going to be talking about putting our garden to bed for the winter time. So come outside with me and let's discover. Alright everybody, welcome out to the garden. As you can see, it's becoming quite bare out here. So we've harvested everything we can harvest for the year, and now it's time to make sure that our garden comes back healthy next season. So some of the things that we think about when we put our garden to bed is we first look out at the garden. So what's here still? I noticed that I have some sunflowers, we have our dormant strawberries, we've got some herbs that are going to live perfectly fine over the winter. We've got our mint bed, we've got some kale still there, and then of course we have our garlic and onions that we planted last time. So I want you to think to yourself, what do you think we should keep in the garden through the winter, and what do you think we should take out? So think to yourself for a second. All right. Here's some rules of thumb. First of all, you want to make sure that if you have any seed-bearing plants, like these sunflowers, that if the sunflowers are not rotting, you keep the sunflower seeds intact so that birds and other wildlife can enjoy the seeds throughout the winter when there's hardly anything to eat. So I'm actually going to leave the sunflowers here throughout the winter, but I'll keep an eye on them, make sure that they're not rotting, because I don't want to give any disease to our garden. However, what I might do is I might take out some maybe rotting stems that might cause disease in our garden and dispose of these, but I will keep the stalk intact. Another thing is that if anything is already still growing, you want to keep that in your garden, because the rosemary, the fennel, they're still green. It means that they are growing and adding important nutrients to our garden. So we're going to keep some of those. For instance, the fennel, the rosemary, the lavender, the kale looks like it's doing pretty good, and the mint, as well as our strawberries, which will come back next year. The other thing that we want to keep in mind is we want to discard anything that's diseased or possibly will become diseased over the winter. So for instance, when I look at my mint, I'll show you in a second, you'll see that there's some brown parts on the mint. So what I'm going to do is actually cut down most of the mint and store the fresh mint and dry it for use of mint tea. But then I'm going to give that plant a chance to regrow next year and start fresh. So the roots will still stay in the soil and they'll still bring up some new leaves in the spring. But I'm going to give it a chance to kind of go dormant and go to sleep for the winter and come back next spring. The final thing that we want to keep in mind for our garden is we want to protect it. Protect it from the rain, potentially snow, cold, ice, anything that might be happening over the winter that might harm the plants. So what we're going to do is we're going to protect mainly the root part of the plant by giving our beds a little bit of a jacket for the winter time. And so I'll show you in a second how we're going to do that. So come with me and I'm going to show you a couple tasks that we're going to do. All right, you guys, so the three words that I am using to characterize the three tasks I'm going to do today are clip, shear, and cover. First of all, clip. I'm going to take my clippers and I'm just going to go around the garden and I'm going to look for parts of my plants that are diseased, possibly would harm the plant if left on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect them and put them in the compost bin. All right, here we go. All right, right, everybody, now that I've gone through the garden and clipped away the parts of the plants that are dying, now it's time to shear. So I'm going to use my shears to look at this bed of mint. So I'm looking at the mint. I'm noticing that most of it is green, but it has definitely gone to flower throughout the summer. And some of the tips of the green mint are actually black or brown. So that means that this plant is not necessarily doing super well up top. Also, if I left this through the winter time, the undersides might start to rot and then give disease to the whole bed. So what I'm going to do, because I'm done with this bed for the season, is I'm going to shear down pretty much the whole entire thing. That will keep the plant alive below the surface of the soil. And then next spring, it will give the plant a chance to rebound and give us some new mint leaves for our harvesting. All right, if you have mint at home and you're maintaining your mint bed, make sure to collect all the fresh stuff, and you can dry it over a period of a week or so. And then in February, I'll get to show you how to make mint tea out of this delicious mint. All right, everyone, we're at our third and final task for the day, which is cover. So this bed behind me was the home of our tomatoes this summer. And I'm not planning on putting anything in here over the winter, so I'm going to let it rest and sleep for the winter time. And I'm going to cover it with a nice blanket. You can use any sort of organic material to cover as long as it's dead. So I have two different coverings that I'm going to cover, half with one, half with the other, and see which one's better. So check back with me in the spring on that one. On this side, I'm going to put some dead leaves and needles. And then on this side, I'm going to put some straw down. So here I go, and then I'm going to do it with all of the blank beds in the garden to make sure that all of the plants can come back in the spring, or that the soil can rest and the bugs in there can stay nice and warm. So here we go. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me and helping me put the garden to bed from afar. I hope that your gardens sleep peacefully this winter time. As we're nearing the end of this year, I have an exciting announcement to share with you all. This year, Logos is going to be a partner of the Oregon Agriculture in the Classroom's Specialty Crop Box Program. So this year, if you sign up for our Garden Gazette videos, you will be sent home with your ES a special goodie to do a activity at home. And also, a lot of the times these boxes include some delicious treats for you. So this month's theme for December is cranberries. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about cranberries. Did you know that Native Americans have used cranberries for hundreds of years as a dye for clothes, food, and medicine? And they're one of only 3 native berries to the United States. Oregon, specifically, is the number 4 producer of cranberries in the entire country. It produces 7% of the U.S. cranberry supply. The cranberries in Oregon are mainly grown in the coastal counties of Coos County, Clatsop County, and Curry County, two of which are really close by to where we are now. So if you ever go down to Bandon and check out the cranberry bogs, you can actually see what they look like in person and how they grow. So for instance, did you know that cranberries actually grow on vines that float on the water? So I will send, or on the garden website, I will be posting a video about how cranberries grow so you can learn a little bit about them. And then inside your special cranberry bag, If you sign up to receive this, you will receive some dried cranberries to eat, as well as a faux cranberry, fake cranberry, and a marble. And these two things can be used to do an experiment about why is it that cranberries actually float on the surface of the water. So you will also get this lesson of examining buoyancy, or how things float on the water versus sink. So you'll get this, you'll get a bag with these items in it, as well as my good wishes from the Logos Garden. So when you watch this video, if you haven't already, make sure you sign up to receive my emails, or sign up on our Google form to make sure that you get your goodies from your ES. I hope you guys have a wonderful winter break, and I will see you in January for our video about mint tea.